I found out the truth about my girlfriend's pregnancy when she was 6 months along. A guy named Brian approached me at work, asking if I was Sarah's boyfriend. I confirmed, and he apologized, revealing he had been intimate with her and didn't know she was in a relationship. Skeptical, I watched as he showed me text messages proving they had been involved for over a year. When Sarah got pregnant, they agreed to pretend the baby was mine so she could maintain her perfect life and he could avoid responsibility. This revelation hit hard, especially since we had struggled to conceive and her sudden pregnancy seemed suspicious. Brian, recently embracing Christianity, said he couldn't live with the lie knowing I was raising his child. I thanked him, asked him to stay quiet for now, and spent months grappling with the betrayal. I decided to confront Sarah at her most vulnerable moment, right after she gave birth. When the baby was born, he was taken to the NICU for monitoring. What should have been a joyful moment was heartbreaking, knowing he wasn't mine. Once Sarah was settled post-delivery, I packed my things. She asked where I was going, and I told her I knew the baby wasn't mine, urging her to call Brian to sign the birth certificate. Then I left. Her calls and texts flooded my phone. Even her sister reached out. But I ignored them. I had planned to propose to Sarah that day, imagining a future together. But instead, I walked away shattered. The pain was immense, but I felt a strange satisfaction in confronting her. Some criticized my timing, saying I should have ended things earlier instead of waiting until she was postpartum. Others supported my decision, urging me to get a DNA test to confirm the baby wasn't mine, and to protect myself legally. I was certain the child wasn't mine just by looking at him, but I agreed to get tested for clarity. Safe at home, I stayed in touch with Brian, who was ready to step up if the baby was his. I didn't care what anyone thought of my actions. People would move on, but I would carry this pain forever. Sarah's betrayal stung deeply. I had treated her with love, and this was her response. About a month later, the DNA results confirmed I wasn't the father, and Brian was a match. He was thrilled to be a dad, despite the messy circumstances. We kept in contact, and I found him to be a genuinely good person, active in his church and volunteering. I wasn't sure if we'd stay friends, but I wouldn't mind grabbing a beer with him occasionally. I wished the best of the child, believing Brian would be a great father. Sarah, meanwhile, tried to start a relationship with Brian, but he declined, choosing to co-parent instead. I spoke with her once, discussing where things went wrong. She admitted feeling unfulfilled, saying I wasn't fully there for her. I acknowledged I wasn't perfect, but I had given her my best. When she cried, I hugged her but made it clear I felt nothing for her. She suggested staying friends or me visiting the baby, but I refused. I gave her a stuffed animal I had bought for the child we might have had, but once she moved out to her mom's, I blocked her number. The heartbreak lingered, but I started healing. At work, I met a kind single mom, and we began talking. I was upfront about needing to take things slow after my breakup, and she understood. We hooked up casually, but I wanted space to focus on myself. Still, I saw potential with her. I began working out, attending therapy, and rebuilding my life, determined to move forward without Sarah. 8 months later, I had no contact with Sarah, who had moved 3 hours away to be near family. Seeing her around town initially was tough, but her absence brought relief. Brian and I texted occasionally, sharing a beer once. He seemed content as a father, and we avoided discussing Sarah. My relationship with the single mom flourished. Her daughter was incredible, and being a stepdad figure felt right. Despite moving quickly, our connection was strong, open, fun, and stable. She grounded me when I struggled with drinking after the breakup, and meeting her daughter solidified my commitment. Therapy helped me process the trauma, and most days I didn't think about Sarah. My girlfriend and her daughter became my new family, healing me in ways I couldn't imagine. I ignored those who doubted our relationship, knowing they were wrong. My life had transformed, and I was grateful for the support from strangers online during my darkest moments. I plan to propose to my girlfriend someday, excited for a future I never expected. Sarah was a painful memory, but I had no regrets about how I handled things.